G'day everyone, I am rewiring the light bar in my Hilux. I thought I'd bring you along with me. Now, the Hilux has a H4 bulb, but it activates differently to most common H4 bulbs. Now, a relay basically needs a trigger from the headlights, and then it needs power from the battery, and then when it gets triggered, it'll send power directly to the light bar. Now what you'd ordinarily do is unplug that harness from the globe, plug it into this end of the patch harness, and then plug the patch harness back into the globe, and then that'll work normally. And then these two wires connect into that plug down there, and those wires end up in this loom, in this relay. This is the harness that comes with the light bar if you choose to buy it. But basically, we're not going to use this and then it'll work normally. What we need to do is wire in our own earth to the switch, and then we need to feed the switch a proper trigger from the harness that's in the steering wheel on the indicator column. So I'll show you how I've connected that in. Now the reason I am switching all this wiring up is basically the light bar as it worked using this harness, which I don't like. What would happen is I'd turn my headlights on, and then that would send the trigger to the switch, and then you flip the switch on, and then the light bar would turn on. What would happen if you turned your high beams on is that the light bar would turn off. Why that's annoying is if you're driving and a car's coming, you actually have to flip that manual switch. You actually have to use this switch to turn the light bar off, which means you kind of got to take your hands off the steering wheel, which can be pretty tricky mid-corner at 100k an hour in the middle of the night. So as you can see, this conduit that was running along the firewall comes into the car, and I've just cut the connectors off. So instead, we've just got an earth into the back of the switch, power from the high beam, from the indicator stalk, and then so that'll come in, flip the switch, and then it'll send out through this white wire into the relay. So I've just soldered in a wire into this wire here. See that one with the silver dots on it? That's our trigger wire. Now I just want to say the only reason you need to run earth to these kinds of switches is so that light can illuminate. You could just go without it. Your light bar will still activate, but obviously the switch won't light up. So that's all that's there for. If you're using a different switch, you only need trigger wire in and then trigger wire to the relay. Now the rest of the wiring is pretty easy, especially if you buy the harness. The way that it's done here is that the light bar and the relay share the same earth, and that's power to the light bar, that's power from the battery, and that white wire is our trigger wire from the switch. Now if you wanted to, you could also bypass the switch that's in the car and just connect this wire directly into the indicator stalk area, and that way literally every time you turn your high beams on, the light bar will turn on. But for me, I can choose to have the high beams alone or high beams and light bar at the same time. The choice is yours.